What is the funniest or craziest Zwift race experience you've ever had?
All right, so I got a good one. So there's a chat on the side of the screen, and I logged on. I just logged on to like a group. I was warming up for a race, and so I looked up at the chat, and it said, "That was so hard." And so immediately, without even looking at anything else, I type in TWSS, enter. That's what she said.
Of course.
And then I look up to see on the companion app, you can see the rest of what everybody was chatting about. They were talking about the death of a parent. Oh, that was so hard. And I just felt freaking horrible.
Welcome back to Bespoke Endurance. Today is episode 24 of Recreational Rider to Racer podcast series, where Josh and I are transforming into racers, leveling up on the bike and in life in the midst of busy lives, work, and young families. If that interests you, hit that subscribe button and follow us along on our journey. You will not be disappointed.
Money back guarantee.
To a free podcast.
That's right. Okay, so we got a very exciting episode this week. We've got our friend Mike Goertemoeller, who is joining us. Mike is a husband, father of 2 kids, started racing in early 2000s, but gave up cycling completely for 10 years due to back issues. Got back into cycling around 2017. He races road, fondos, gravel, virtual, and occasionally dabbles in cyclocross. I didn't know that. He's a Cat 3 road racer and races Cat 4 for cyclocross. He races mostly on Zwift, and he's been Zwifting since 2019. He's raced almost 900 Zwift races. That's incredible. And has a current racing score of 934. Mike has also dominated us at Cherahalla until he had a flat on the final 10 miles. And honestly, doing Cherahalla with you was really, really fun. That was such a fun trip.
Yeah,
that was
good time.
Such a fun trip. But yeah, you popped off, and it was like, okay.
There he goes.
Okay, well, I guess first question, we're talking about Zwift racing. This is our part 2. So for those of you joining for the first time, if you haven't listened to part 1, we did a part 1 on Zwift racing because both of us are pretty brand new to it. Me even more so. Newbie to Zwift racing. So today is part 2 with an expert. 900 Zwift races. You know what you're doing, and you've experienced a lot. So question.
Still learning though.
Yeah, true. But first question, how did you get into Zwift racing?
So really it was kind of around COVID. I wanted to get on a trainer, and I got on Zwift, and I used to hate the trainer. I absolutely dreaded the trainer. Hated winter. Did not like being on the trainer. But Zwift was enough interaction that I found it interesting. But 2020, I broke my wrist, and in order to keep my fitness, I had to be on the trainer. And so with that, I got elevated aero bars on my bike. I threw it on a trainer, and I just went full all in on Zwift. I got into the Zwift Racing League early then. And
did they have it back in like 2019? When did Zwift racing start?
So I think it was fall of 2020.
Holy cow. Okay.
So I broke my wrist in March of 2020.
Okay.
And then the Zwift Racing League started up in the fall.
Dang.
And that's what really got me.
So you're one of the pioneers of it then.
I don't know about that. There's definitely guys that were on earlier than I. They talk about riding on Jarvis. I wasn't that early.
So I have a out of the gate, probably a really stupid question. But because we were discussing this last week and really trying to understand it. Having a racing score on Zwift of 934, tell us a little bit what that means or correlates to. Because I know it's a really high number, but what does it take? How do you level up in Zwift, and how do you ultimately get a positive 900 score?
So Zwift has changed their categories over the years. It used to be A, B, C, D, and they had a certain FTP that you had to have, and they took, and I think it was 95% of your 20-minute effort, And then they started incorporating looking at your 5-minute effort too, and they had a ranking, and you also had to have a minimum. So like, let's say the threshold for A was 4.2 watts per kilogram. You also had to have a minimum of 250 watts. If you're under that, you would still be a B because you didn't meet the threshold for the minimum. But a lot of people complained about it because they said it should be results-based like it is in real life. And to be fair, I mean, it really should. A lot of people were sandbagging, so they knew they could go up a category, but they would purposefully not. They would hold back on their power so that they could win races. And people are like, those people winning races, they should be promoted up. And so with the Zwift racing score, that kind of fixed mostly that issue of people sandbagging. And people still sandbag, but
Is that pretty common in Zwift racing to people sandbagging a lot?
it's in the lower categories, yeah.
Okay. So in like the D's and C's, it's pretty common.
For
Okay.
sure.
Maybe not so much in the B's and A's.
In A's, there's not sandbagging, but
Oh, that's true.
in A's, you deal with cheaters and people on miscalibrated trainers.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a lot of sandbagging in the lower categories.
Interesting. Okay.
But it's not as much as it used to be because they switched to the Zwift racing score. So now, if you're winning a lot, you'll get promoted.
So to Greg's question, like obviously the more you win in different categories, you just
It all depends on who
more
you're
points.
racing against in their racing score. So if you're beating guys that have a better racing score than you, then your racing score is going to go up.
Okay.
Can you lose points on it?
You can, and it's been changing. Like at the beginning, and people would lose massive points, and then so people were then trying to lose on purpose so that their score would go down. I don't know how it's all calculated now, but I never got into that. I just like to race.
Well, isn't it for outside? Like once you cat up, you can hold that category for indefinitely.
All right, your score can go down for sure.
Oh, okay. So
I don't know exactly what the calculation is, but yeah.
So let's say you were like you got up to a level B, and then you'd say like I've accumulated maybe whatever like 600 points or whatever racing points somewhere in that category. At that point, if I stopped Zwift racing for like 6 months, somewhere in that, my points would go down the next time I'm racing potentially, just because I am not like racing.
I'm not sure exactly how they do it, but they look back like 90 days, and if you don't have anything, you almost have like a reset, and then they also start looking at what your threshold power appears to be, and what your 5-minute power. They have like a what's it called, a ZFTP they look at. So it's based on a couple things. It's based on your race results, but it's also based on your power numbers.
Okay. That
I
makes
feel
sense.
like 90 days. I'm like, man, 90 days. That's the whole summer where it's like I'm racing outside.
So some guys come back on and their racing score is like way off.
But they're still fit because they're coming off of the
So
outdoor
it
season
takes
of
a
training
couple.
and racing.
It takes a couple races, and then they're back to where they should be.
Okay.
Usually.
All right, before we go any further, we want to give a huge shout out to Road ID for not only supporting our podcast, but also letting us film right here at their headquarters. If you're a cyclist, runner, or someone who wants peace of mind while out on the road, Road ID has you covered. Their medical IDs provide crucial info in case of an emergency, and they look great too. Do yourself a favor, check out roadid.com and grab one today. Big thanks to the team at Road ID for their support. This episode is also brought to you by our sponsor, Chris Carville, the bike lawyer. If you are injured in a bicycle accident, Chris is the guy to call. 20 years legal experience and tens of thousands of miles of training and racing. He's not just a legal pro, he's a cyclist who understands what it means to ride and the risks that come with it. Chris helped me out with my insurance claim when I had an accident back in 2020. He was great to work with, and he made the process smooth and took the burdens off of my shoulders. Representing both Ohio and Kentucky injured cyclists, whether you've been in a crash or just want to know your rights on the road, visit KentuckyBikeLawyer.com. So let's just do a quick follow-up. Mike, you got a road ID?
I got one.
Good man.
Right
Yep,
here.
I'm
look
rocking
at
mine.
this.
Josh,
Look at
you
this.
rocking yours tonight?
I left it at home, unfortunately.
Usually I forget mine and you bring yours. That's all right.
And
We swapped.
Chris
And then,
also took care of me.
I was going to say, you had an accident
Yeah.
too, and Chris
Yeah.
helped you out
Yes.
with working through
It
that
was great.
process. Yeah.
So I agree with both those sponsorships.
All right.
We got an endorsement from Mike too.
Heck yeah.
All right, tell us about, like, for Zwift racing, what is your equipment setup?
So I have a kicker bike, and I have a little, I don't know, platform in front of me. It's got a laptop on it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of guys project it to a TV screen. I have a gaming laptop.
Yep.
I've got a mic because a lot of times we do on the TTT, we communicate with the team.
Excuse me, hang on.
You've got a mic going on
So
here.
you run comms. What do you know, Josh? It's a normal thing. People run comms on Zwift.
Hey, listen, that was my first race. I wasn't expecting to have a phone call.
He
during
gave
the
me
race.
crap because I called him because we were doing a race together, and he's like I'm not answering this. Like he texts back like, why are you calling me?
Well, I knew why you were calling. You wanted to chat the whole race. I'm like, I just
I wanted to have
focus.
comms.
Yeah. Well,
Case in point.
listen, I didn't know there was an expert. An expert would have given me that guidance to know that that's normal. So you got a mic, okay?
Yeah, I do. I have 3 fans that are on remote.
Wait, what kind of? Are we talking like little tiny fans or what? Are we?
They're all relatively small. The best one, honestly, is like this Honeywell one that's about yay big, but it's also the noisiest.
Okay.
And then I've got one of these directional ones that kind of like you use for like drying out carpet or whatever. I
Interesting.
got one of those right in front of me, and then on the side of me, I've got a Vornado, I think is what it's called. It's a little tiny one. They're all on a remote, so in the winter when it's cold, I like to start off cold without the fans on me, and then as I get warmed up, I turn them all on.
Oh, I love that. 3 fans. Dude, I'm rocking like a small, tiny Honeywell. That
Same.
thing is not doing anything for me.
And in the summer when it's hot, I've got an ice vest. So
Dude, this is next level.
I got to say, virtual shifting, it's pretty nice.
Okay.
You can shift mid-sprint, so like you're always in the right gear.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
I never thought about that.
So let me ask a dumb question. Tell us about like virtual shifting in that sense. Like what? So you've got these controllers.
Well,
How does this?
on
How
the
does this
kicker
work?
bike, the shifters are just like the shifters on my Shimano Canyon Ultimate that I have.
yeah.
They're set up identical. I have electronic
Okay.
shifting on that bike, and I've got virtual shifting on the kicker bike, and they are set up identical.
Okay.
Just the difference is when I shift on the virtual bike, like the shifting is butter smooth, and it instantly happens. So I mean, it's
Gosh,
nice.
do you get on your road bike outside and you're like, gosh, even this
I
Shimano
got-
Di2, this is
The
garbage
Shimano
now.
Di2 is pretty nice, but the virtual shifting's way better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like you never drop a chain, you never have that clunk sound of like, oh, did I
right.
make it?
So is that came stock? That came with your bike when you bought
Yeah,
it?
that's
for the
how.
kicker?
Yeah, yeah. And you can set them up however you want.
Oh.
How-
That's a huge advantage. Okay, so you'd recommend that, like, obviously based on budget, but that would be like if you're going to spend the money.
Right. I mean, the amount of time I spend on Zwift, I mean, it's less expensive than a new bike,
Yeah.
outdoor bike.
How hard is it to get the virtual bike, your fit dialed in, versus
It was
like,
super easy because they have on the app. You can actually take a picture of your outdoor bike, and then they will give you recommendations on how to set up the kicker bike based on your outdoor bike.
Okay,
it was
that's
super
cool.
easy.
That's awesome.
Oh man, that's
You're selling
fascinating.
Josh because he's in the market for a new trainer.
I'm
Well, the other
looking
thing
at a
is
new trainer. I
the-
got to sell my current bike or my TT bike, but once I sell that, I'm thinking
A lot
about
of
it.
times they have the V1s, reconditioned ones on sale for like $2,000.
Ooh.
So be on the lookout for those. They've just moved on to a new kicker bike.
Okay.
So maybe the old V2s, maybe they'll start selling
Okay.
reconditioned. Be on the lookout for those.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hit you up when I'm.
If I see one, I'll send it your way.
That's amazing. Okay, but let me ask you this. So, because we had a listener, we were actually talking about this last week. We had a listener write in and was really curious about this because we had talked about the fact that like you don't do your standard structured training, even though you still race outdoors too. But the question is like, you do a lot of Zwift races throughout the week as you're training. Walk us through a typical what a week looks like for you. Like, how many total races are you doing? Total hours? Like, why do you do that in terms of your training? Why is that preferable for you?
So I guess I'll step back and just say that I have friends that are say, they've been cyclists for a long time. So there's two types of cyclists. There's the ones that are really numbers driven, and then there's the guys that go out and just to ride because they like riding. And they both said, the guys that stick around the longest are the ones that ride because they just like riding. The guys that are all numbers driven tend to burn out. And I feel like I'm kind of in between because I like to ride just to ride, but I'm also kind of a numbers guy. So I didn't want to get burnt out, and I did actually try Trainer Road for a while, and I just wasn't for me.
Okay.
So my philosophy was I'll do intensity during the week, and then on the weekends I'll do longer, more endurance type stuff. And then when I got into Zwift Racing League was on Tuesdays, and then they had the Zwift TTT on Thursdays, so I kind of made that just part of my regular program as my intensity, and then still did the longer stuff on the weekends. And then I discovered intervals.icu, which it gives you all sorts of power statistics.
Okay.
And there's a real nice graph in there that shows your fitness, shows your fatigue and your form. And without really knowing anything about cycling training, I looked at my graph for the past year, and my form was right where it should be most of the time, which is basically if your fatigue is higher than your fitness, but not so much higher that you're actually overtraining, you're in this green area on the graph. And without really knowing anything what I was doing at all, the training that I was doing was mostly in the green. So now that I had this graph, I could get dialed in a little better to know that, like, if I'm out of that zone, what I need to do to get back in the zone. So a typical week for me, I now double up on Tuesday, Thursday. So I'll do usually a race on Tuesday morning.
Now, when you say a race, what is a typical Tuesday for you, distance wise? Like,
well, I'll do it before work, so it'll be a quick race, something like half hour to 45 minutes.
Okay.
And I'll try to find something with a decent amount of people racing, because otherwise it's not fun. If I can't find a good race, then I actually will sometimes do a workout on Tuesday mornings.
Okay.
Tuesday evenings, when Zwift Racing League is happening, I mean, that's the race. And sometimes I'll do Zwift Racing League in the morning and the evening, which is what I did this week. When Zwift Racing League's not happening, I tend to do an endurance ride in the evening.
Okay.
There's this ride called the Faster Masters. It's like an hour and a half, 70 kilometers, and it's just good endurance riding.
And that's a large group ride?
It's a large group ride.
Okay.
Then
So Tuesday you're doubling it up. Okay.
Wednesday is an off day usually.
Okay.
Thursday, I always do the TTT. But before I do the TTT, I actually run a race on Zwift. It's called the Doozy. Everybody should do the Doozy.
Ooh, we're going to link it. Okay. We'll link it.
We try to keep the Doozy around 20 minutes. It starts at 6:40 a.m. Eastern. It's always an intense race. And so I try to pick courses that have some sort of dynamic where there's a good place to attack in it or a good finish. So like, I don't know how familiar you are with Zwift, but like Innsbruck Ring.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a good example of a good finish would be to put it at the top of Leg Snapper, so that you got a real intense effort there at the end.
Ooh.
Thursday is a race in the morning and then the TTT.
So two races in the morning.
Okay.
The Doozy, then the TTT. The TTT is usually 45-ish minutes or so. And then in the evening, I'll do an endurance ride.
On Thursday again?
On Thursday again.
And how long is that for you?
Hour and a half.
Okay.
Dang.
And then Friday's usually an off day.
Okay.
And then Saturday, I'll do an endurance ride usually. Sunday, I'll do something small usually.
On both of those are on Zwift or outside, or kind of
It
just...
depends on, I mean, if it's in the summer, I usually do those outside. If in the winter, like last winter, I did a ton of Zwift Centuries on Saturday. They've got a really good, it's called BMTR Flat 100.
Okay.
And this guy, Nick DeHaan out of Michigan, he holds the record for Paris-Brest Paris. He leads the A group out of there. And that guy can just sit on the front at 26, 27 miles an hour, and you just draft off him the entire time.
That's incredible.
And then what about, is Monday a rest day too then?
Monday's usually a rest day.
So you're resting
3 days.
3 days. You are How many hours? What's your total weekly hours?
I'd say on average about 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's a good
12
amount.
hours over 4 days. So you're hitting 3 hours a day. Okay. And you're breaking it up between mornings and evenings for the Zwift racing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if my graph is looking like I need more to get back into the green, I know I either have to increase my volume or my intensity. And so just depending on how much time I have, sometimes I'll make more longer rides on the weekend to make up for the volume. Or if I don't have the time, I'll just do more intensity during the week.
Do you find yourself able to feel recovered, especially when you're doubling up racing?
I think it's really helped with my recovery. At first, I thought this was going to be terrible. But what I found strange was, like yesterday I did Zwift Racing League race in the morning, and I did race in the evening. My numbers in the evening were almost identical to the morning, and I felt way better in the evening. I could have done probably better numbers if the race was a little more intense in the evening. So my recovery from the morning to the evening is fine. Like, that's not an issue.
Interesting. Yeah, that's cool.
And I feel like I've taught my body to recover quicker by doing that.
Yeah. I think it's fascinating just because it's not your typical training structure where it's like you might do an intensity day and then the next day is either a recovery or like a zone 2 or something like that where your body's taking a little bit of time to absorb it. So I think it's fascinating. But you've been doing this for years, though.
For quite a while, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, my wife knows like when I want to train. So like she knows if to plan an event, to plan it on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Because Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to be on the bike.
Yeah.
So it works out good for planning stuff in the family.
Tell me about, so as a newbie, tell me about the Zwift Racing League. What is it all about? Like, I've heard of it, but tell me, like, how does it work? How do you, like, is it only specific days, et cetera? Like, how does Zwift Racing League work?
So Zwift Racing League starts up in the fall. It's changed over the years, but they started off, they had 3 rounds, and it basically went until the end of winter.
Okay.
Usually ended up in like March or so. But it's team-based. You have to race with a team. You have to be on a team.
Oh, you do? Okay.
You can have up to 12 people on your team, but only 6 race at a time. And there's different types of races. Usually they'll have one race will be a TTT, one race will be a points race where they'll have segment points for fastest through the segment or first across the line. For like some of the sprint segments in Zwift or like a hill climb, you'll get points for those.
Ooh.
And then they'll have finishing points. So that's one race will be like that, and then one race will just be a scratch race where it's just the points you get are based on where you finish.
Okay.
And so they used to have 6 races usually, and so they would do TTT, points race, scratch race, TTT, points race, scratch race.
Okay. And one of the things that we had talked about last week was obviously and it sounds like this is something that is pretty important for you too, but like having that communication, especially with others during the race. So tell me a little bit about your method for communicating with other riders and really just how you've even built community through Zwift Racing.
Sure. So most teams use Discord to communicate, and it's absolutely crucial in a TTT because you have to be able to say how long you're going to be on the front, how long, what your pull length is going to be. If you're not able to take a pull, you have to be able to tell the team that. If there's stuff happening in the group, like gaps are opening up, like the guy in the front can't necessarily see that. So it's up to the people in the back to say, hey, he's up a bit, there's gaps. We need to close these gaps first.
Okay.
So communication's like absolutely crucial in a TTT. But it's even important in a race too. Like we just did a scratch race yesterday, and throughout the race, not everybody knew what all the power-ups were. And so there were actually some, I don't know if you know what the burrito power-up is.
I have no idea.
I've
There's a
seen
burrito
it.
power-up?
I've seen it, but I have no idea I forget what it does. I've only had it like once or twice.
So there was 3 burrito power-ups that people were not anticipating. The way the burrito power-up works is when you activate it, it deactivates the draft behind you. So you get a cone of space that is non-draftable. So the people behind you don't get draft. And
it's like a sabotage
Yeah.
power up in a sense.
so on a climb, it can be devastating, because if you're relying on being able to draft to get up that climb, and all of a sudden you can't draft, you got to be able to do the same watts per kg as the guy in front of you. Otherwise, you're going to get dropped. You cannot draft. And so there was these mystery burritos that came out in yesterday's race that nobody was really expecting. And so we were able to communicate, hey, just to let you guys know, burritos are going to be happening on this climb. And in order to avoid the consequence of getting no draft, you got to get to the front, because there's less people that will be able to activate the burritos. But once they activate them and they're done, there's less people there that you have to worry about activating new burritos, because not everybody does them at the same time.
Yeah.
Like some people are wait until later in the climb to activate them.
So in Zwift racing, how do power-ups work, and how do you typically use them to your advantage?
So the race, whoever sets up the race actually can control the power-ups, and not every race has them. Some races have specific ones. Some of them are just random. But the three probably most popular are the draft, the arrow, and the feather.
Right.
And those are usually random. And you typically get them whenever you cross a banner or a start finish. So the sprint points, the hill climbs, and the start finish of the route. And usually it's random.
Okay. But be on the lookout for that. If you're new to Zwift racing, that's typically where you're going to get
and it's pretty important to have the right power-ups at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, like an arrow one at the end of the race is usually what you want for the sprint.
Okay.
But if there's a climb at the end, feather's what you want.
Feathers, which
So sometimes, I mean,
Depending
you
on the
can only
race.
hold on to one power-up at a time.
Right.
And you can't get a new one until you've used that one, or you can actually trash them if you want. So sometimes you might get a power-up early, like an arrow, that you want for the finish, and you just go, well, I'm not using that the entire rest of the race because I want it for the finish. And so there might be times in the race where you're like, do I want to use this? Because I'm starting to fall off here. Can I close that gap? Do I want to activate it? But if you can hold on to it, then you'll have it at the end for the sprint.
Yeah.
I think last race we did, I got an anvil on the uphill.
No, so the anvil, it's funny. They used to, it gives you increased weight. And so it used to really hurt you on a hill, and people didn't know how to use them. And people would activate them, they'd get on a hill, and then they'd go up the hill real slow. But Zwift actually changed the programming so that it only adds weight on downhills.
Oh, so you could just kind of burn it on the uphill and
Yes.
it doesn't matter. Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Oh.
If you're just trying to trash it, like what you're saying, you're like,
There
I don't
actually is a
really-
trash option. Like in the
Oh.
companion app there,
I
or
see.
up on the computer screen, you can navigate to a trash button to trash the power up if you don't want to use it. Like sometimes you don't want to use the burrito because you don't want to hurt your teammates.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to ask this real quick, because I know we're gonna get into like strategies and skills with Zwift and stuff like that. I just want to kind of ask, with all the Zwift racing that you do, how does that fitness transfer over for outdoor racing?
I say really well.
Okay.
I mean, I think we've talked about this before. It's not a time trial. So like you're not just trying to lay down a certain power number and hold it. Outdoor racing is very dynamic. So usually there's spots in the race where attacks happen. You got to go all in, super intensity, your heart rate spikes. But at some point, the race settles down and you recover. And the Zwift racing is that way. I mean, there's intense parts of the race where you got to go all in, and sometimes like it might be at the very top of a climb, and like you don't think you're going to be able to make it to the top of the climb, but if you don't make it to the top of that climb, as soon as that starts to descend and you're not in the pack, your race is done. So you got to just give it everything you have to stay with the pack and just hope that on the descent you'll be able to recover. And so that stuff translates over into outdoor racing too. You know, when there's attacks during the race, be able to go in, all in, and then, you know, be able to recover at some point later in the race.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense, especially with like hit interval training too, where it's just that quick, like hey, there's this 30-second surge, and then you're recovering a little bit. Hey, there's another 30-second surge, and there's another 45. So makes sense. But yeah, you're reacting to that dynamic element in racing.
And the other thing is just your power numbers. They're pretty consistent on Zwift versus outdoors too, at least for me. So I know how I can pace myself in an outdoor race.
Yeah.
Because of the numbers I've done indoors, I know what I can do.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people who criticize Zwift racing or Zwift fitness as far as bike handling skills transferring to outside? What would your response to that
I mean,
be?
some of it's fair because, like in a real life race, to be able to compete, you have to be able to have decent cornering skills. You have to be able to descend, and then if you get into like gravel racing, I mean, you got to be able to get over some of the more gnarly stuff and be able to handle your bike through turns, and that stuff's just not on Zwift. I mean, it's just Zwift's all about power. And another thing that's a real big difference is in real life racing, you got to really worry about your position in the pack. Mm-hmm. In a Zwift race, attack happens. If you want to get on that attack, you just got to put down more power. Or outside, like you constantly have to be vigilant as your position, because if an attack happens, not only do you have to put down more power, you have to be in a place where you can actually get around people to follow the attack. Mm. So, they're not the same thing. I mean, the power I think is pretty consistent. The effect on your body and how it feels is the same, but bike handling, I mean, it makes a huge difference in outdoor racing.
I mean, it sounds also, though, what you're saying, because one thing that we've talked about a lot that Josh has shared is just pushing yourself and kind of going into the red and then having to recover and get ready to do that again in a couple minutes for the next big attack. So it definitely sounds like that is something that it really primes you well for.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk strategy and skills.
Okay.
The question for you first is, how do you not slinky in groups in Zwift?
So draft is a huge learning curve in Zwift. It took me a while to learn. I had no idea what I was doing. And there's kind of like there's a stickiness to the draft. So you could be putting out 200 watts or you can be putting out 170 watts. And your avatar might be holding that same position. So to draft effectively, you got to find out what the lower end of that is to keep your avatar in place to be able to draft effectively. And basically, what I look for is as soon as my avatar starts to drift backwards, okay, I'm not putting out enough power to hold him in place, and I just pedal just a little bit more to hold him in place. And I mean, it's definitely learned. I mean, and I don't think about it much anymore because I've just done it
You're
so much.
Used to it, yeah.
But for people new to it, like, that's a real hard thing. They slinky back and forth. And on the TTTs,
that was my biggest gripe last week. I'm a slinky guy.
It's super nice to have the controllers now to be able to control
the positioning.
The position,
okay.
Right. You can actually steer now. Not everybody has steering, though. And actually, in Zwift Racing League, they don't even allow steering. So on the TTTs, it's hard to hold your pack position without steering. So the way you do it is through power modulation. So if your guys start to get all clumped up, some of the guys have to ease off the power. Some of the guys have to push on the power a little bit more so that they all line up.
And that's where the comms come into effect then?
Yes, for sure. For sure.
How long did it take you to get comfortable? You said it took you a while with not slinking and finding how to, because, that's one thing. I feel like if I go out on a group ride or in a race, I feel very comfortable with positioning and getting on a wheel and holding that and responding to that. But Zwift, I am all over the place. So about how long did it take you to master that skill or get more proficient in it, I guess?
I don't know if I could put a number on it, but I mean, if you do even just a handful of TTTs, you'll start to figure it out.
Would you say that's the best way to do that then versus like the group rides or the
TTTs,
the bot rides?
I mean, it's pretty evident in TTTs. So, I mean, that's one way to do it. But just riding in a pack, so they have these robo pacers, and just practicing, trying to move up in the pack, trying to move back in the pack, try to hold your position in the pack. You'll pick it up just doing that, just trying to ride with a group.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely just group riding.
Do Zwift controllers actually make a difference in racing?
Huge, because you can cut corners. So like, there's some areas that
Wait a minute.
There's some areas that are twisty, and if you have steering, you can cut every corner, and you can put out less power than the other people because you're riding a shorter line.
Oh.
But did you see that they discontinued them? Well,
they're not discontinuing steering. Maybe
they revamped the cog. So instead of having just like an up or down for the shifting, it's got two hardware pieces now, and one looks like a very, very tiny version of a Zwift controller.
Okay.
So they've got the buttons on there. So I think they're going to somehow make the steering with that. I don't know how, because have you seen it yet? Or
I have, but I haven't looked into the details of it. But I've got the old controllers that's got the steering with the little orange buttons on the front. You push on the sides.
I want to know your thoughts on one of the things that we were talking about last week that also a lot of it came up in the comments on that video too, was where I definitely feel like, oh, this is hard, is it seems like every single person in every race I've done on Zwift, it's just from the moment the clock hits 0, it is just guns blazing, all out efforts. Like you're straight into the red or VO2 max efforts for the first very long time, it feels like.
Yes. I think that's something that you have to get used to with Zwift. But I mean, it only lasts for a short bit. And so I actually think it's worse in the lower categories because they know they can shell the weaker people, and some people are new to it and they don't expect it, and they're off the back right away. And it also depends on the course too. Like if there's a climb coming up, people don't necessarily want to blow all their watts at the beginning with a climb coming up. But yeah, that's something you got to get used to with Zwift. It usually the first 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even a little longer, usually pretty intense.
Yeah. How do people cheat in Zwift other than weight doping? Like, what could you look out for? What are the red flags?
There's so many ways.
I know I would not think that.
Yeah, that is fascinating. But how.
So I'd say probably the most common are miscalibrated power meters. That's probably the biggest one, or purposefully miscalibrating the power meter. But people lie about their weight. People lie about their height. So I don't know if you're familiar with Zwift Power. So that's kind of like the unofficial, official race results.
Yeah.
And if you look up people on Zwift Power, most people who are legit have a link to their Strava profile. Some people even put links to like outdoor efforts, so you can see that they've done the efforts that they've done. You can have the option to dual record. I don't know if you've ever done that, but like
so dual recording on Zwift and Strava, or are we
your trainer will have one power record, but then you can also have a second power source on your bike. So like I have power pedals, and then I'll use a head unit to record my power pedals. And then on Zwift Power, I'll upload that data so you can see both my power and the dual recording to see that they match up. There's at least two. But you can still fool that too. Some people use software to like manipulate a second feed so that it looks like they're dual recording when they're actually not. They're just I don't know how you look for that sort of thing.
Interesting.
What other ways?
Do you think it's pretty common that people cheat in Zwift racing?
It is probably more than it should be. I don't think it ruins all the racing because unless the guy's doing something that's changing the race dynamics, usually it's fine. If they're basically matching like the power that I can do, like it's not really affecting my race. But if a guy is doing ridiculous world elite power and everybody's trying to chase this guy, then people can't attack because everybody's energy is spent trying to chase this cheater. Or if somebody does attack, sometimes they can't hold their gap because they've got some cheater who's able to reel on the back end. So it's really those people that are annoying. And Zwift, I don't think, does enough to crack down on the cheaters. But like in the Zwift Racing League, they can ask you to do a weight video. They've done that in the past. They have looked into some, like when other people called out, hey, this guy's power numbers are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I know of at least of a couple incidents where they've had people do outdoor efforts, but I mean that's like extremely rare. It's only like the elite level stuff.
Dang.
Most of the time they turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
You know what Zwift should do to really, and this would really be effective. So I remember when I used to like play Xbox online, people that cheated in games would be temporarily banned from multiplayer of that game. Could you imagine if Zwift, even for a week, started banning people from like Zwifting or racing? People would lose their crap. Like they would immediately be like, okay, I'm done with this. Like,
I think part of the issue is they don't want to lose those people as subscribers. So it puts them in a awkward position. And it's hard to prove too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but you could just ban from racing for a week and they can still have the other features. It's just, hey, you've been caught cheating racing, so you can't race for a week.
But I gotta imagine there's got to be better ways to look at the feed that they're getting to determine whether or not it's being manipulated or not. I don't know enough about the software, but I would think there's got to be some way to look at it.
Could you imagine if you could like rat people out? Like, oh my gosh, it would turn so ugly so fast.
So, I mean, sometimes it happens during races. It'll come up in the chat. People start calling each other out. I mean, it happens.
But then, like, if Zwift weighed in on those discussions or like had consequences, like, all right, you're going to be banned for 3 weeks from racing.
But the thing is, when they do ban people, usually they ban the people who they consider bullying the cheater.
Oh, yeah.
So like you got to be careful when you call people out. I mean, you got to like legitimately know that they are cheating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to be the one in trouble.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's transition to training and improvement. What's the best way for somebody to get better at Zwift racing?
I mean, one, just race more. But I think the biggest thing for me was I started recording my races because when I started doing the Zwift Racing League, I was finishing way back. So let's say there was 80 people in the race. I was finishing like around 50 or so. And I would look at my power compared to everybody else in the race, and my power was closer to the people in the top. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong here? So then I started recording my races, and actually sent it to my teammates and said, hey, what am I doing wrong? And they just started pointing out a ton of stuff to me. Like one was, you're racing this like it's a time trial. Like your heart rate is just a complete flat line. Like you should have spikes where you're going hard and when you're recovering. And then another guy pointed out, I asked, like, and I went from the beginning of the front of this pack, and all of a sudden I went all the way to the back of the pack. Like I was holding the same power. Like what happened? And he was like, well, you got to look at the course profile. There was a dip there, and at the bottom of the dip there was a kicker at the end. He said, just like in real life, the momentum of the people behind you, when they hit the bottom of that hill and then they went into the kicker, the momentum carried them past you. So like if you want to stay on the front, you got to put down more power there. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. Like it didn't even dawn on me that I got to be paying attention to the course profile.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So I mean, just learning, how the course profile affects pack dynamics, just getting familiar with pack dynamics, stuff like that. And the more you race, the more you learn. I mean, I've done tons of racing, and I still record, and I always go back to like all the crucial points during the race where a break happened, or where a lot of times I'll just look at the sprint finish and just see how that went down. And you can learn a lot just from watching and recording.
Just from actually recording it. Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's the same for us when we do outdoors, and they're very popular now, but a lot of those Insta360 cameras, amazing for going back and looking to see, oh, here's exactly, I remember this in my head, but now I have it on camera of like, oh, this is where this guy popped off. and I should have responded sooner, or I like didn't respond, and all these other people started coming. So
That's exactly
having
it.
that same type of footage outdoors, it's the same for indoors, where it's
Sure.
just that idea of like reviewing your racing, and then being able to say, okay, next time I see this, I'm gonna do this differently.
Yeah, and the other thing is when your heart rate's at 180,
Yeah.
your brain's not exactly thinking. It's not at 100%.
That's right.
So when you
Yes.
slow things down,
Yes.
and you look at it and go, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how that went down.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, just a fun question for you. A would you rather? I think I already know the answer to this. Would you rather, in the winter, ride 2 hours outside or 4.5 hours on Zwift?
It really depends on what the weather's like.
Let's say it's 35 degrees outside.
Ooh, that's right around my cutoff.
Perfect.
So we got a hard question for you then.
I guess it depends on who I'm riding with.
Oh, if you're riding with, if we invite you out for a ride,
No, I'm going with you guys.
let's
Awesome.
go. Let's go.
Heck yeah. Or he's going to be like, no, I got a group ride. Come join my group ride on Zwift.
You're just being nice. Honestly, your
I
team
do
that you're
try-
racing with,
I
with
do
Zwift
try to
Racing
ride
League, those
throughout
guys
the
are-
winter. I do try to ride throughout the winter at least once a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like last winter was horrible, and we
Yeah.
had like a month where there was like snow
Yes.
on the ground for like a month.
Yeah.
I didn't get out at all for at least a month
I know,
last year.
we really struggled through, like, both Josh and I
Yep.
were like cabin fever. Like, we were going out and
17 degrees is my lowest.
yeah, it was
I got-
it was
Yeah,
cold.
I don't do
I
that
was-
anymore.
I was so sick of the trainer.
Like 25 is kind of my limit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I've got good toe warmers now, so I'm
I've
good to go.
got good gear now, so I don't have an excuse. But 25, I
It's
think I'd
still
rather be
cold.
inside.
Even
Yeah.
with the right gear, it's still cold, man. What is your favorite Zwift route or race series?
Oh, that's tough. Of course, I love the Doozy.
Yes, well, the one that you created. Okay, so we're gonna
Well,
link it.
I
We're gonna
didn't
link
create
it.
but I run it
Okay.
now. Favorite route? I really like Innsbruck Ring because I like the leg snapper.
Got it.
But
okay.
then, like for training, like for if I'm training for like a Fondo or something, Four Horsemen's really good. So is Uber Pretzel. A lot of people hate Uber Pretzel.
That's the one that ends, so it's like
Yeah.
60 miles and it ends on the Alp.
But the great thing is it emulates that outdoor effort
Yep.
pretty well, and then you can use your power data to help pace yourself for it. So I think they're
I've
great
done that
routes
route
for that.
once, and it was hard.
Do you typically, for the outdoor races that you do you ever mirror in Zwift racing some of the routes that you're anticipating for outdoors, where you're thinking, hey, I've got a road race coming up, it's a lot of climbing, I want to start simulating a lot of like climbing Zwift racing, or not really?
Not really. I mean, I do, like when I was training for Handcappy after I had broken my hip, I was using like Uber Pretzel as like, if I can do this, I can do the Handcappy event.
Okay.
So that was definitely, I was specifically training on that course for that event.
For that
But
event.
for the most part, I'm just using
Yeah.
Zwift as a way to increase fitness, and it really doesn't matter what the course is. I'm just trying to get some intensity.
Yeah. What is the funniest or craziest Zwift race experience you've ever had?
All right, so I got a good one. So there's a chat on the side of the screen, and I logged on. I just logged on to like a group. I was warming up for a race, and so I looked up at the chat, and it said, "That was so hard." And so immediately, without even looking at anything else, I type in TWSS, enter. That's what she said.
Of course.
And then I look up to see on the companion app, you can see the rest of what everybody was chatting about. They were talking about the death of a parent. Oh, that was so hard, and I just felt freaking horrible. I mean, I just felt like this small, and so then I'm like, oh, what did I just do? So I'm sitting there on my companion app typing in a huge apology, and I don't know if you know this, but like.
Your profile is instantly flagged.
yeah, exactly. People can flag you
Yeah.
for stuff like that. But
Banned
like
for bullying.
before a race, like if you signed up for it, it'll automatically switch you to that race at 5.5 minutes till the race. So I'm on my companion app typing up an apology, And then I go to hit send, and I look up at the screen, and it says switching to event. So I didn't even get to send my apology. I mean, I felt horrible the rest of that day. But,
People are screenshotting it. Who's Mike Goertemoeller? Get this guy off of Zwift. I mean, okay. To be fair, when you started saying that, I immediately thought that's what she said.
Exactly.
So
I'm
I think
much
there's some
more
grace
judicious when I say that now. I need to know the context first.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's really good. Okay, I love that. Well, if you're out there watching it, and if that was you, then here's your apology.
Sorry.
Mike is
So it was
sorry.
not
I'm very sorry.
When was that? Was that recent or?
It was like a year ago.
Okay.
Or so.
What if he's like, it was today? All right. Let's. So we do a segment on here called This Week in Cycling, where we kind of just talk through some trending things happening or headline things in cycling. So, Josh, you want to take the first one?
Sure. Okay. So we had the World Championships this past week. What did you think of Remco and Ben Healy in the road race?
So I just saw the highlights. I was shocked that Remco came back as far as he did with all the issues that he had. I was shocked that he was even close to Tade after all that he went through. I really didn't see much of Ben Healy's side of things, what he went through. But I was actually impressed with Remco that he was able to do as well as he did with all the issues that he had.
Yeah, I was too. Somebody online wrote in one of the comments was like, he has to get his bitch session out. That's just part of the process. Don't knock the process, people. And I thought that was so great because it does seem like there's always some potential issue, and you're like, maybe this is part of what makes him so angry that just all of a sudden he kicks into this different mode that you're like, maybe he has to do this.
He does seem to get a little bit of drive out of anger.
I saw an interview with him where he said one of the bike changes, the saddle height felt off.
Yeah.
But then I saw like the next day they were like, they measured it and it was the exact same setup. So I don't know.
Yeah. I love the emotion.
But did you see how much time he sat on the side of the road waiting for a bike change?
It looked like a lot.
It was a long time.
Yeah. Which makes you think,
well, they don't have
how did
comms.
You catch back up to 2 minutes, to right behind Tade?
I know.
So it's impressive. But yeah, I thought Ben Healy was really cool to see podium, because you're just like, even in the Tour de France, you're just like, oh man, this guy, these single stages, you're like, this dude can really shine with these really far out attacks, and I love to see that, him even shining in the championship race too, because it goes to show that, like, man, you might not win the Tour de France, but you can still
one day
compete.
You can still be with the best in the world.
Well, we were kind of talking in our text, Ben Healy as kind of the dark horse of the season, where if you were to show me the lineup for Worlds,
I wouldn't have picked Ben Healy.
I wouldn't have picked him for podium.
Right.
If you would have
thought like Del Toro would have been up there, or
yep. If
you'd
have shown me the lineup at the Tour, I would not picked for any day Ben Healy being in yellow, let alone holding it for 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
And then even when he went out of yellow, he was still racing so aggressive and going after stages. So definitely kind of, for me, the dark horse of the season is Ben Healy.
Yeah.
All right, so this is about a week and a half news now, but Juan Ayuso is officially, for the 2026 season, joining Lidl Trek. They've offered him a multiple-year contract. He's gotten out of his UAE contract, and it's looking like he's going to be a GC guy for Lidl Trek. Josh, I know you're thrilled about this.
Get him off UAE. I think it's interesting because the other current leader right now, Skelmoose.
Yeah.
If I'm saying that correctly or butchering it, please correct me. But I think he had some interesting comments that he stated that, well, I'm not exactly sure how this is going to work if he's going to be riding for me. And then it seemed like immediately the comments for that were, well, Ayuso's better than you. He's got more stage wins. He's done better. And so I could see there being immediately some tension, in that team immediately with seems like you're the guy, but like I think there's going to be a little bit of that. Who's the real leader here, and that's going to have to be sorted out as they go into next season.
I think this is kind of what, and we've talked about this a lot this season. So we'll use the model of Visma and UAE, who each team clearly has their leaders.
Right.
When Jonas is in the race, the team is working for Jonas. When Tade is in the race, the team's working for Tade. But then both teams sign multiple guys that could be GC guys for other teams that at least UAE, they kind of have fought it out in the past. But I think the same issues are going to pop up. They're already popping up, and he hasn't even joined the team yet. So when they've got two guys that are GC guys, it's very traditional they're just going to fight it out, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's true. And it'll be interesting to see even what happens with Remco, too. Because, I mean, arguably you could make the case that you could have even 3 potential guys, as...
I forget, where's Remco going?
He's, why am I blanking on the team name? Dang it.
Because he's leaving... Do you know where he's going? I forget where... I know he got a contract. I forget where he's going, though.
Why am I blanking?
It's not Israel. It's not Lidl Trek. Is it Lidl Trek? No.
No.
It's not Ineos.
Red Bull. There we go.
That's right. Because he's got Primos there and Jai Hindley.
Not only Jai Hindley. Who's the other guy? Who's the guy who did well? He did even better than Primos at the Tour.
Oh, that new kid. That young kid.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Not Oscar. Was it Oscar something, or was that the other guy?
Is that Oscar Onley?
Oscar Onley?
Is he on that team?
It was either Oscar Onley or the other guy that got...
okay. I feel like we've missed the point of...
botched that entire thing. Let's just
It doesn't matter.
You guys follow this way more closely than I do.
Here, let's go.
I know these names, but
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know the
it's
politics
fine.
like nearly like what you guys do.
All right, so here's one that I'm super curious to see how this shakes out. So SRAM has officially filed a suit against UCI for their proposed gear ratio changes. SRAM is saying that it is going to hurt their selling of their product. I think they have a pretty interesting argument there, because if you're in a bike shop and someone is like trying to get SRAM or Shimano and it's like, well, this is illegal. Why? Well, it's been banned by the UCI for racing. People go to a bike shop and they just want to get what people are racing. So I think SRAM has a very interesting point. They're saying that it, what's the word? It singles them out, or it's discriminatory against them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with it.
I mean, could you imagine the guys at SRAM that if this goes through, like they're like, holy cow, we got to they have to reconfigure their entire lineup of everything, because everything for their derailleurs work around the way their stuff is set up, and they can't go above a 4810. Sounds like a nightmare.
It just seems unnecessary. I don't know. I don't get it.
Did you see they did dial back this week on the handlebar width?
Yes.
So they're allowed to go. I think it's 26 now. They're allowed to go down to.
Yeah.
It's definitely narrower.
Is it to 26?
I think.
Okay.
Like from inside to inside.
Okay.
So they are dialing back on that. I think that they kind of recognize that smaller riders and particularly women were hugely disadvantaged.
They caught a lot of flack.
Yeah, they caught a lot of flack for that. So
yeah.
Here's what's the thing. Like all these gear proposal changes, when you look at the crashing that's happening, it's not because they're going super fast down a mountain, or it's usually fans are running out in the road, or there's traffic, furniture, or something that the UCI... I feel like the UCI should be focusing their attention elsewhere to make the races safer, instead of putting the burden on bike manufacturers and companies to just change their equipment. And it's like, you're the ones hosting these races and putting these events together. You need to make this sport safer, not put it on the bike manufacturing
it's just
industry.
a matter of they're just trying to appear like they're doing something?
Yes. That's exactly what I think.
They don't know what to do, and so this is what we're going to do. So it looks like we're doing something.
Yeah, I think that's
I
exactly
think
it.
a lot of it's just the bike handling of it too. Well, we saw this year with the tour where those two guys were racing up for the points, and one guy just completely ruins the other guy's race by crashing. It's like that had nothing to do with his gear ratios.
It amazes me how many crashes you see in the tour. I mean, they're supposed to be the best bike handlers in the world, and a lot of these crashes are just like guys hitting wheels.
Yeah, and you're just like, they're like us.
Seriously.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mike, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So when people are looking for Zwift races, tell us again the time and day that your race that you guys do on Thursdays.
So the Doozy is at 6:40 Eastern a.m.
Okay.
And it's 20 minutes?
I try to keep it around 20 minutes, yeah.
Okay. I think I can make
the
that
reason
work.
for that is because back in the day, there was a group of guys who liked to do the TTT before that, and guys who liked to do the TTT after that, and wanted to make sure that those guys had enough time between the TTT and the Doozy to be able to do both.
Okay.
So
Love it. Okay.
kept to it.
I love it. And is this the mighty, what were they called? The mighty, what do you guys call this? The Mighty Ducks?
It was a play on that, Dirty Ducks.
Dirty Ducks,
I'm
okay.
on Team Dirt is like the main team, which has thousands of people, but within Dirt, there's little communities. And Dirty Ducks is our racing team.
The Dirty Ducks.
I love that. That's a great racing name. I love that team
so
name.
if we picked this
Dirty
name
Ducks.
back in COVID, when the Zwift Racing League first started, we had to come up with a team name.
Yeah.
And my suggestion for the team was Dirty McDirt Faces. And I'm so glad we went with Dirty Ducks.
I was going to say,
is
Dirty
so
Ducks
much better.
is a little cleaner. It's a little simpler to
Jacob
remember.
Broughton was the one who came up with Dirty Ducks. So shout out to Jacob.
Out, Jake. That's a great name. Okay. I love it. All right, so we want to hear from you guys. We would love to hear your thoughts on today's episode, especially for those that have experience in Zwift racing. If you're like Mike and you've been racing a long time, we would love to have your tips in for others. Things that you've learned over the years that you found really helpful. Or if you're new to it, we would love to hear follow-up questions you have for Mike, because we will certainly bring those back on next time. But hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment below. But until next time, we'll see you guys.
See ya.